And we are live with Nick Black in 5, 4, 3, 2.
The question of the day is, what do you do with your whaling hooks? Do you know what a whaling hook is?
Yeah, of course I know. You're talking about the harpoon, the thing that comes off the end of the harpoon? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't even know if it's called a whaling hook. I just made that up.
Oh, so it's a harpoon.
It just seems like it'd be called... but it's got a hook on it.
It's a harpoon. Well, it does have a hook on it, but it's a harpoon. Maybe it's a I'm curious now. I got to look this up.
I don't know.
Maybe it is a whaling.
I don't know what
maybe
it is.
the device that shoots it might be the harpoon, and the hook might actually be called a whaling hook.
The harpoon is the speary thing. The harpoon gun. Harpoon gun shoots the harpoon. The harpoon doesn't shoot itself.
Okay, so there's no whaling hook then. That's a made up story.
I think there is a whaling hook.
No,
I think there is a whaling gaffing hook.
I'm gonna Google it. Hold on, whaling.
Although I don't think gaffing hook, Jeff, has 3 Fs, but I see where you're going with that. Yeah, it's not a harpoon. It's like a hooky. I think there's a whaling hook. I think there's a hook for whales. Cutting them and moving pieces around.
So whaling hook, it's another name for a harpoon, is what we're looking at here. Okay.
There is a whaling hook. Steve O says there's a whaling hook. How apropos, Steve. You'll see why later on in the show, why it's interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome to the American Institute for Crypto Investors and Old Whaling Hook show. We're going to look at the markets. We have some questions about Chilis. What happens when miners stop mining, or if they stop mining, or if they redirect their mining. We'll do some Q's and A's. And we actually have a little news tidbit on Ethereum. So this is interesting. So we'll cover all of that. What should we cover first? Brandon, what do you think? What do the people want? You know what the people want.
Yeah, the people want to see the market right now. That's instantly that. I mean, honestly, that's what they want. They want to see the market. They want to see what's going on. They want your take on the market. If you're asking what the people want, that's what they want.
Ray said, "Whale oil is the basis of Citibank."
What are you talking?
If you work for Citibank and you walk in, they're like, "You got your whale oil. You got it. Everybody, get your whale oil and go to your offices and lube up the desks. Get ready for another day of city banking." They call it city banking. What are we doing today, staff? We're city banking. Donut party on Thursday. Hey, Brandon, when's the last time you had a donut party?
When I was in 3rd grade.
They give 3rd graders donuts? What are they? Let me guess. Let me just guess. It's sponsored by some dental facility nearby because they know all you little dummies will eat those donuts. Your teeth will rot to dust. Like what's the cheese with holes in it? Swiss cheese, but it's a kind of Swiss, right? With holes in it, like your teeth.
No idea.
Brandon's
literally no idea. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's go to the
holes in my
market. Let's
brain.
look at the markets.
Okay, there
we're
you
failing.
go. Yep.
We're such a fail. If we were a radio show, canceled. Okay. What's going on? Nothing. The entire crypto space is still under $1 trillion. Why is that interesting? Well, these markets are taking their cues from the greater markets, which are taking their cues from idiots that still believe in the Fed myth. And I'm not going to go into it because I don't like the idea of beating a dead anything. I like horses. I saw a video of a horse and a cat, like a cat that jumps up on a fence and he gives like a head rub to a horse, and the horse was giving him a head rub back. How does that apply to markets? That's about as random as are these markets. Everybody's just waiting for something else, to the next shoe to drop. Well, what are the next shoes to drop that you should be paying attention to? 1, the MT Gox settlement. The last date to file for the settlement has already passed. I think that was September 13th. They may have pushed it to like the 14th or 15th. Point is, there is no more creditors can file. That's it. It's locked. distribution start. They had originally said earlier this year, I think in as late as July, that the MT Gox settlement tokens would start distributing the end of August, which is why there was a little bit of chaos a few weeks ago when people are like, crap, the end of August is on a weekend. Would they dare? They would dare. You know what's funny? Jake Paul was boxing with a buddy of mine this morning in kind of near Hollywood. There's a boxing gym near Hollywood. They were boxing. He posted some pictures. Anyway, kind of cool. All right. So what's the story with Bitcoin? Stay away. Don't touch it. Don't trade it. Don't move it. You could accumulate if you want, but my gut feeling is you're going to have a lot better opportunity. No matter what happens, no matter how clever they are about it, no matter how few people sell, this market cannot absorb free floating Bitcoin. It cannot. It's too illiquid.
Devil's advocate. Have you?
Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I don't buy Bitcoin. I don't think it's worth it. Is that crazy? Like, I've never bought Bitcoin, really. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good crypto to invest in because there's so many other options. You only have $10, and I know you've talked. I know you've talked about your model, right? You have $10. Yep. You should spend what, 3 to 5 in Bitcoin or whatever you say. Anyway, why? Why would you spend that $3 on Bitcoin when you can put it in another token that could exponentially grow quicker now at this point?
Okay, but what you're making a bunch of assumptions there. You're assuming that Bitcoin will not
Okay, go ahead.
No, but we all make assumptions, right? But you got to decide. You've got to weight those assumptions. So you're assuming, well, if I put it in Bitcoin, that other coins are going to move faster, right? That's one assumption.
Okay, fair. Yep.
Right. So you're just saying, where's the velocity of money of improvement in the portfolio going to be the greatest, right?
Correct. At this point, yeah.
Real quick, what's the most appreciating asset in all of human history?
Bitcoin.
Right. So knowing that that's not changed, listen, all these other tokens, they've all been around almost as long. What's the most appreciating asset in human history?
Right. I mean, are you going to go buy the asset that's already ran the most? Or are you going to buy something that has the potential to catch up to its exponential gains?
And that's a good argument, but it's flawed logic. If you know something's the best ever and it keeps being the best ever and nothing's getting close.
There's your assumption as well.
You probably want to own. Yeah, I wouldn't say, if you were saying, where would I put, if I had $10 and I had to put it all in one place, I would absolutely not put it in Bitcoin. No way. Okay. I would pick one of the protocols that I felt like had the best chance to like build out Web3. I think that's kind of what you're getting at. But when you're building a competent portfolio and all of these assets can do amazing things, then something that might only do 500% is still pretty effing good.
Yeah. And
do I think Bitcoin is going to move as fast as these other assets? Probably not. Now, do I think it will get back to 69, 70, 100K, go to 100K, maybe even $1 million? Yes. Do I think that the protocol layers will move much faster? Yes, but they're also less liquid and they are weak AF. And what I mean weak is Bitcoin is the most liquid of these assets, and on exchanges it's illiquid. But the reason it's illiquid is different than the reason other tokens are illiquid. The reason Bitcoin is illiquid is not because people don't want it. It's because people buy it and park it. They put it in a safe, they put it in cold storage, they hide it. And so the illiquidity of Bitcoin is not a function of people's desire to have it. It's a kind of a perverse inverse of that. Because people want it and because people hold it as a store of value, they park it. And when they park it, it sucks liquidity out of the market. It's no different. Well, it is different, but it's kind of similar to how, like, when you look at Ethereum, I think 40% of Ethereum has been staked pending Ethereum to whatever that looks like years from now or so. Up to almost, I think more than 70% of all the Cardano is staked. But the cool thing is with Cardano, you can unstake it instantly and you can trade it, which is kind of cool. However, you create these situations where a lot of these assets look illiquid because people believe in them. Cosmos is something that I want to talk about. So I was doing some reading about Cosmos. They're about to put forth, they have at the end of this month, this kind of a convention-y party, whatever, blah, 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 where they roll out some things. One, they're going to address the inflation rate, which is 13%, which I actually think you need an inflation rate as long as you have a potential deflation rate. Like when economy is expanding, you need an inflation rate. When it contracts, you need a deflation. You don't want to inflate while the economy is contract. But that being said, they're addressing that. They're also doing this thing, which is really cool. Imagine they compare it to like, if you have one stick, you can break it. But if you have a bunch of sticks in a bundle, you can't break it. You understand the analogy, right, Brandon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the same strength, just like 2x4s when you're building a house. If you stack the 4 2x4s, it's exponential strength.
Yeah, it's more than more than 4 individuals.
It's not. Yeah, it's not 4x. It's exponentially larger.
So they're doing the same thing with security on Cosmos, on the ecosystems, like for staking. So they're basically bundling all these security provisions in this one main area. And real quick, why I don't ever talk about Hex is because it's a scam, and the guy that's running it is a scam, and he's probably going to end up in prison. So that would be the reason for that. And we stay away from scams as much as we can. So they're bundling all of these security provisions into one. And again, I'm misexplaining. It's much more technical, but I'm trying to do it in a way that relates to this stick analogy. So you're going to be able to stake and earn multiple tokens, not just one, not just Cosmos, which, by the way, already pays like 14%. 14, maybe more. So you're going to be able to earn multiple tokens at the same time, similar to Cardano, where you're going to be earning multiple tokens when you're staking, not just one. You think, oh, I'm just earning ADA. No, because like what's happening with NewNet, they're rolling out a 17%. See, they're rolling out this NewNet, NTX is rolling out this deal. They're working with stake pool operators where you'll be earning, if you delegate to them through Daedalus, you'll be earning not only your normal Cardano, your ADA, you'll be earning NewNet tokens over a period of so many weeks or months. And that's to roll out the NewNet software to these stake pool operators. If that spreads and you get the 3,000 or 4,000 stake pool operators running NewNet software, that's pretty awesome. That's also probably not a 1.5 cent NewNet. But anyway, we'll see what that. So Cosmos is doing a lot of this stuff, and they're rolling out a lot of these, like that security upgrade is coming here in like 2 weeks. I don't know what that will mean. Cosmos has been doing really well. It's up a double basically in the last 90 days, 35, as you can tell, percent in the 30. But again, this is a token that was much, much higher in the past, still down 62%. But they keep doing things to make it safer and more secure. Osmosis and a lot of these other platforms where you can move in and out of the token, really cool. The staking is cool. Cosmos is doing a lot of things right. It's just, I keep coming back to it, and I keep looking in my portfolio and saying, that may be where I'm light. So I'm thinking about, especially when we have finally some down days, probably adding there, and again, not a recommendation. We'll go into a little bit more detail on specifics in the heavyweights. There may be a play on that release of that security upgrade, and there may be a play on the inflation adjust. If they adjust the inflation down, if they just chop the inflation to 6% and they up the security on staking and they allow stakers to earn multiple tokens, man, you about to find out. And Algorand seems to be moving. It was up 10% earlier. Why? Well, they don't do much in terms of marketing. They do a lot in terms of upgrades and tech. They're just real quiet about it. Yeah, look, if you have Cosmos, Atom, the token, you need to be staking it directly through Cosmos Station. It's not a long process. It's a bit of a process. You need to set up a Cosmos Station wallet. You need to do all that first, but it's worth it. 17, 18%. Nexo is great, but come on, man, don't give up 6% a year. If you're going to stake, you stake it directly at Cosmos Station. You stake directly with the protocol every chance you can get. Nexo is cool, but Nexo is not as safe as staking it directly with the protocol on any of these things. For those of you that don't have a Near wallet, go set up a Near wallet. I did it with one of my clients yesterday. It took us a minute and a half. And you can get your name. You could get like Brandon, Dad of the Year at Near or .near. Whatever. You can get like your own vanity address. So you should go set up a vanity address, I'd say. Anyway, be safe. What else is interesting? A lot of stuff is interesting. We'll get into more of the specifics of what's interesting. Oh, by the way, for those of you that made the Raven play and then backed out of the Raven, you took profit. You're not only on house money, but you may look at getting back some of that back. Why? Because I think it's regressed. Last week, it really dropped down, which is good for those of you that thought you missed it and good for those of you that took profit because you're already back in the range, 3.5 cents where you could start buying again. Because again, it's one of those tokens that the Ethereum mining community, when you're doing smart mining, Raven coin tends to be one of the tokens that is always in profit. Now, why is it dropping right now? Probably because post-merge, there was the big run-up. People were mining it, making money, and they want to take some cash off the table because miners, they got to eat too. So there you go. And Rapture says, I'm new to your room. Are there things you look for in staking that helps protect people from the likes of companies like Celsius? You got to go through your 5 T's, man. You got to look at the team, the timing, the tokenomics, the technology. You got to look at why their token exists. But you can't get past with Celsius. Once you looked at their team, you should have been out. That minute, I'm out. You look at Celsius, you listen to them, you would have been out seconds later. Thoughts on Uniswap? I don't know. Man, I don't know. These exchange tokens are very tricky. What do you think? Would you own Uniswap, Brandon?
It's overly used, but I don't know that they've not capped on their upside for the token value. They did that airdrop, obviously initially, and they're a great service. I use it every day, but I just don't see a lot of upside with where it's going yet. Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tricky. I want to talk about, let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk about this lawsuit really quickly. Not that. That's my secret thing. You can't see my secret thing. Hold on. Let's talk about this. Nope. That's for there we go. Man, I was accidentally showing you guys some fancy stuff. Okay. SEC lawsuit claims jurisdiction because ETH nodes are clustered in the US and people are talking about this. Oh my God. What does it mean? Well, let me read this really quickly. It doesn't mean much. The SEC argues that because ETH, this is Ethereum validators, are concentrated more densely in the United States, Ethereum transactions are seen as taking place in the country. Guess what? Doesn't even matter. The SEC wants to go after somebody if there's one U.S. client and one U.S. exchange. Would we agree that Ethereum is traded on U.S. exchanges? Yes. Okay, that's it. That's all they need. Are there U.S. clients that own Ethereum? Yes, that's it. That's all they need. The U.S. SEC has made an unprecedented claim that Ethereum transactions take place in the United States because Ethereum nodes are clustered more densely in the U.S. than in any other country. I don't think the argument even makes a difference. The argument is found within a September 19th lawsuit yesterday against crypto researcher and YouTuber Ian Bellina, which alleged, among other complaints, that Bellina conducted an unregistered offering of Sparkster tokens when he formed an investing pool on Telegram in 2018. The SEC claims that the U.S.-based investors participated in Bellina's investing pool. The Ether contributions were validated by a network of nodes on the Ethereum blockchain, which are clustered more densely in the United States than in any other country. So what? I don't even know why this is important. But a lot of people were like, oh my God, and then you're like, you read it and you're like, there's no nothing. The SEC argued that those transactions took place as a result in the United States. At this stage, it is unclear whether such a claim will hold up in court or whether there is whether there is an eagle attacking people, whether there is any legal precedent at stake. However, currently, 42.56% of the 7,807 Ethereum nodes are currently situated in the U.S. Now, why you'd say, well, how are they claiming 50% if it's 42? 42% of the nodes are here, but more than 50% of the hash power is here, meaning of the actual compute power that's doing validation for Ethereum. At the time this was done, because this is all changed now that we're proof of stake. But at the time this happened, that's how they're making these allegations. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Aaron Lane, an Australian lawyer. Oh, should I read it? Australian for beer. I guess he would be like, the fact that we've got a US-based plaintiff, a US-based defendant, and transactions flowing from the US is what is most relevant here. It doesn't matter whether the payment was done in Ethereum, MasterCard, or any payment network for that matter. Foster's, Australian for beer. Was that pretty good? Did we get money
that was
Foster's?
Pretty good. That was pretty good. We're gonna get ad revenue soon.
Yes, we're all gonna get rich from Foster's.
Australian for beer.
Australian for beer. I have an Australian friend, and I told her that. I said, Foster's Australian for beer. She's like, no one drinks it. It's garbage. Like, that's the same thing. Like in Mexico, no one drinks the Corona. And you're like, hey, they're like, no, my friend. No, my friend. I'm like, why? They're like, no, you don't drink that. I'm like, oh, good. Well played. They're like, you'd rather drink the water from the hotel. I'm like, oh, no, I know that's a no. The defense may concede jurisdiction here, and if they do, it won't be an issue. And if it's not contested an issue, then the courts won't say anything about it. Any concern, none of it matters. The point is, here's what happened. This dude started a group on Telegram and got everybody to buy into his investment group, and he's not an investment advisor. And even if he was, the SEC treats it as he did an unlicensed or unsanctioned, whatever. He didn't talk to the SEC. He didn't file all the paperwork to do a securities offering. So it's an unregistered securities offering. None of the other crap matters. If I go like, hey man, I'm going to have a Nick coin and all this kind of stuff, and I don't vet investors, and it's like you're giving me money to do something and you're expecting me to give you money back, bro, that's an investment contract. Okay? You're giving me your stuff, hoping that I give you back more stuff. You're hoping that my performance gives you money. Okay? It's different than me saying and then you doing. This is just handing me money and I do all the stuff and you wait for a check. That's an investment contract, at least under Howey. Guess what? Nebulous enough, everything's an investment contract. Like every crypto asset could be looked at as an investment contract. The reality, like common logic says, well, that's silly, right? But anybody can argue anything. Matter of fact, that's part of the reason why I think they got Gary Gensler. I think they brought in Gary Gensler because he's a really sharp guy, and they know that anybody can argue anything, and he can intelligently make logically flawed arguments like Ben Bernanke. Ben Bernanke is really good at making very intelligent sounding lies, flawed arguments, completely flawed, like lies, pure lies that sound good. And you go, what? He's smart. He used a lot of big words. Brandon, did you hear the big words that Mr. Bernanke used at that luncheon? I think he's right. I don't even know what a lot of those words mean.
If he knows those kind of things, I mean, he's obviously smart and he knows what he's talking about. He wins.
And real quick, in it to win it. If you like Hex, invest in it. He's a sketchy dude. He may or may not end up in prison. If you want to follow that dude off a cliff, follow him off a cliff. I don't know what to tell you. If you like it, invest in it. I think it's a scam, and I think he's a scam. I don't know what else. I'm not going to do a whole show on scammy people. Listen, you guys are focused, not you guys. Many of you get very myopic in your thinking. You have to be very careful about this. If you like something and you want to go into an echo chamber where other people will tell you to like it, go find a group on Telegram or Discord where they like it, and then you can hear what you want to hear. All right? That's it. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I don't care what you want to hear. I care about helping people make money. That's all I care about. I'm a wealth maximalist. That guy is garbage. Hex is garbage. That's the last we will speak of such. All right, let's do some Q&As.
Wow. Okay, we got a few minutes left. 3 minutes left. Nick, holy crap. This is, what is your take on Constellation? I'm sorry if you answered this already. I was looking at the site and they were bragging about having government contracts. Check out the info on the site. Constellation.
I don't know. It's still, Brian, I've heard a little bit. It's not popping up enough among the kind of people that I read and listen to. It's just not that interesting yet. Doesn't mean it won't be. The government contract thing's a little bit, it's hard. Everybody's got government contracts, man. If you measured government contracts, Cardano and Algorand would be $200,000 a token. They have tons of government contracts, but it just doesn't mean that much. Because that's like saying having dummy contract. Oh, they got contracts with dummies. Oh, wait. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to look at on-chain metrics. Use, utility, adoption. Use, utility, adoption. That's really all it is. Look at their GitHub submits. Are they pushing code? Look at new wallet creation. But that's, I guess, I think new wallet. What do you think, Brandon? New wallet creation, GitHub submits. That's about it, man.
Yeah, not much to it other than that, not something I'm looking at really. That's for sure.
Okay, next question.
What about this, Dr. Dan, your thoughts on Chili's for a lottery ticket?
It is a lottery ticket, but remember the SEC declared it a security, so just be careful. It's a fan token aggregator is what it is. All right, next.
Steve-O says, what are the miners going to do if they can't mine proof of work coins?
Well, listen, you have these boxes that do a very specific thing. They're ASICs, application specific integrated circuits. That's ASIC. So these are specific miners for one specific purpose. You will either repurpose them or turn them off. You will run them until it no longer makes financial sense to do so. That's it. It's economics. What do you do? What do you do with your whaling hooks? Like that? You like bringing it back? And on that note, you don't do anything with your whaling hooks because we don't whale. At least you shouldn't. Hey, listen, don't do any whaling out there, friends. Whaling is bad because we like whales. Plus, they saved us in that Star Trek movie. If it wasn't for those whales, we'd all be dead. That really happened in fake TV land.
That resonates.
Okay. If you don't believe me, believe Star Trek. Okay. And it's Trek, not track. Don't call it Star Trek, you dumb bunnies. It's Star Trek. It's a trek. It's not a track. You're not on our track of stars. Anyway, rough one today. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for the heavyweights, portfolio management. We're going to dig in deeper on Adam. We're going to find out what the truck is going on with Algorand. Why do they keep going all of a sudden today, yesterday? What's going on? So there may be something to it. And some other good, fun stuff and a way to play going into MT Gox. We got to start thinking about how we're going to play MT Gox, how we're going to make money on it. Okay. That being said, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk, strung out on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. And, man, put away your whaling hooks. It's time to move on. Pew, pew.
We couldn't stand those. Try to drive on them house roads, but had to